celebrating love at this iconic resort and the tear-jerker marriage proposal made right here in the land of love. Plus celebrating Black history with Pocono leaders, heading high overhead for a bird's eye view of the Poconos, and chatting on the chairlift at this Pocono ski resort.
Stepping back in time at a premier concert venue in the Poconos, the perfect place to relax and unwind. Then touring some of the best spots to take a winter hike, leading to spectacular sights. Plus, the return of a successful grant program and how the community has benefited so far. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Pocono Mountains Magazine. I'm Brianna Strum.
And I'm Deanna Fontanez.
It is the month of love, so we figured why not bring you to the land of love. This is Pocono Palace, one of the 3 Cove Pocono properties.
And this is the perfect month to book a stay at any of the properties for Valentine's Day or any time of year with your loved one. Our co-host Jim got to know these properties pretty well the last 3 months, and he's going to take you on a little more in-depth tour. Right, Jim?
Yeah, Deanna, we've already visited Cove Haven and Paradise Stream, and right here at Pocono Palace, this resort has something the resorts don't have. You're looking at it right now. Plus, we have a great engagement story to share with you that happened right here, but started back at Cove Haven in our first part. So here it is, Pocono Palace, part 3 of the Land of Love. Enjoy. All right, so we're in the main lobby now of Pocono Palace here near East Stroudsburg, and we wanted to get our tour guide, host with most, Lindsay Williams, here to join us again. You've toured us around Cove Haven, around Paradise Stream, now Pocono Palace. What's so special about this property?
Pocono Palace is the only resort that has the iconic Roman Tower.
But before we get to all that, I'm a little hungry. You got something to eat?
Yeah, let's visit the dining room and have some breakfast.
All right, lead the way. Lindsay, thanks again for having us, and we have this great opportunity here in the dining area to overlook Echo Lake and have a great bite to eat here, starting off for breakfast. I'm famished.
Yes, our breakfast, specially prepared by the chef. I'm excited about these mimosa flights.
Mimosa flights you got going on here. You've got the Eggs Benedict, the crepes, and then it's not just breakfast here too. You can have dinner as well.
Definitely.
You guys really go all out for couples who are here to celebrate love.
This is the setting the mood, and you can get this when you come in for dinner. You get a bottle of champagne and a special glass to take home.
All right, let's pop this bubbly. We met Belinda and Gail. The couple from Long Island has been coming to Pocono Palace for years.
Well, I think the first time was like 2009, maybe.
Yeah.
Year 2009, we fell in love with the Forever Lovers.
They're taking advantage of the benefits program Forever Lovers with opportunities to upgrade their room. Speaking of upgrades, Pocono Palace has its own unique feature accommodations, including the Fantasy Apple Suite. Lindsay, we are now at the Fantasy Apple. This is a 3-floor with a pool on the bottom floor.
I know, it's magical. It's definitely a suite that you have to visit to get the full experience.
So that pool is fantastic, but then you've got the bedroom here too with your own heart-shaped tub.
Heart-shaped tub, brand new, square mattress, renovated floors, and a deck overlooking Echo Lake.
That lake is so spectacular, especially when you can sit here in all the suds and the bubbles, enjoying each other's romance, you know?
Definitely.
Let's check out the Roman Tower, though. I think that is really the thing that'll set off this Pocono Palace experience.
Definitely.
All right. Pocono Palace is where couples go to feel like a king or queen and play around. Ah, man. Ask them why they keep rekindling their relationship at Pocono Palace. Linda and Gail will tell you. It's the romance.
We come back because we've been married 32 years, and you have to keep the romance going in your marriage. So they make it really romantic in those rooms, so that helps a lot.
We always share with everybody about when we go to the Poconos. It's you're going to love heaven. I said, love is the key.
Love is the key, whether it's around Valentine's Day or any time of the year. And more couples, including those in their 20s and 30s, have fallen in love with the Cove Pocono properties, like the couple from a pretty cool hotel tour on Instagram. We introduced you to them in the first part of this series on Cove Haven. They recently released a book, and it all started with their love for the land of love.
It feels so original. It doesn't feel like the copy of anything. It feels like this place started something incredible, and everyone else might want a piece of it, but no one is gonna have what they have. I'm obviously obsessed.
Remember Dave and Hannah from our Cove Haven segment? they recently stayed at Pocono Palace. And there was lots of love in the air. More on their big news in just a bit. Pocono Palace also has this wicked cool nightclub where a major recording artist, Lucy Dacus, recently shot a music video. You gotta check this out.
You got a 9 to 5, so I'll take the night shift.
All right, Lindsay, this is Pocono Palace's claim to fame in a lot of ways. This is the Roman Tower, even bigger champagne glass jacuzzi than Cove Haven has. Tell us about this suite too, which has its own indoor pool.
The heart-shaped pool, dry sauna, and above us the balcony to the bedroom.
A balcony from your bedroom. That's pretty fantastic. Now, how can people get in touch with Cove Haven Properties, Cove Poconos Resorts, to book a stay at a place like this?
Definitely, you can book online on our website. You can follow us on social media, but you can also call our call center and speak to a real person while you're setting up your visit to the Land of Love.
And so that call center, you can find out that information certainly easily at the website. And speaking of getting in touch with real people, we met Dave and Hannah at Cove Haven for the first part of this 3-part series. And since then, they visited here at Pocono Palace. And guess what? They got engaged.
So cute.
It really is, especially when we're around that time of year where you're celebrating love. And now we wish them all the best in their future together.
Definitely.
All right, so thanks again, Lindsay, for having us here at Cove Pocono Properties, where we're going to leave you with that engagement that Hannah and Dave posted to social media. Enjoy.
Nice. Get up. Get up. Good night, you.
And Louisa, will you marry me?
No, you didn't.
Congrats to the happy couple, making Cove Pocono Resorts in the Pocono Mountains part of their love story. Jim Hamill for the Pocono Television Network.
We're at one of America's oldest still operating vaudeville theaters. We'll show you around and tell you what's in store now, coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine.
It's time to renew and reset, coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine.
Pocono Mountains Magazine will be right back, but first, let's see how the Poconos have been making the news lately.
So this is our GI suite here.
St. Luke's Monroe campus is expanding, and the Pocono Television Network recently got a private tour of the new patient care building opening in April. The addition doubles the size of the existing hospital in Bartonsville with a 36-bed medical surgical unit, additional operating and procedure space, a state-of-the-art interventional radiology suite, and more.
And notch a few more wins in the belt for Wallenpaupack Brewing Company in Hawley. The brewer walked away from the World Beer Championships with 5 medals, 4 of them gold, plus 4 first-place finishes at the Pennsylvania Farm Show in Harrisburg. Congrats to Logan and his crew for some amazing award-winning Pocono brews. Find them on the Pocono Beverage Trail.
The Poconos, there's so much to do in that area of Pennsylvania. It's so worth it.
KDKA in Pittsburgh featured the Poconos as a perfect romantic getaway. From ski resorts and rustic luxury to cozy cabins and the Pocono Beverage Trail, this segment recognized the region as a great Valentine's Day destination and just a short drive away.
And during this month of love, Mount Airy Casino Resort is holding a vow renewal event, Double Down on Love, on February 17th. Couples should register at mountairycasino.com for the event, which will be followed by wedding cake and a champagne toast. Cheers.
Embark on a winter adventure at Shawnee Mountain, a family-focused, family-owned paradise for all. Whether you're carving down the slopes with our premier skiing options, refining your technique with top-notch ski lessons, tackling our exhilarating terrain parks, enjoying the thrill of snow tubing, or introducing your little ones to the joy of winter fun on our mini monster mountain, Shawnee has it all. Create lasting memories in the heart of the Poconos. Learn here and save.
As they say, the show must go on, and it has here for over 140 years. We're at one of America's oldest still operating vaudeville theaters, a now vibrant venue for all ages.
Hi, welcome to the Mauch Chunk Opera House. We're one of the premier listening venues in the Northeast. We seat around 400 people. We do shows all year round, ranging from indie bands, tribute acts, all kinds of theatrical productions. The Mauch Chunk Opera House was built in 1881 by the town luminaries. It was a 2-floor structure. On the second floor was a vaudeville theater. Some of the performers that performed here were Charlie Chaplin, Mae West, Eddie Foy and the Seven Foys, just to name a few. On the first floor was a marketplace, and it thrived that way until the early 20s when it was turned into a silent movie house. After that, talkies came in, and it stayed that way until around the mid-60s when it was shut down and opened up and bought by a purse factory. It was used as a warehouse. Until its decline in the 70s, it was purchased by the Mauch Chunk Historical Society and started its renovations in the 70s. The structure was designed by Addison Hutton, a premier architect in the Philadelphia area. He designed this building to match Carnegie Hall. And you have to think back in those days, there was no amplification. So these structures had to be designed to project.
Tonight, Unforgettable Fire, the U2 tribute, will be performing. The band is very energetic on stage and has almost like a theatrical element to their show to really capture the energy of a live rock show.
The Opera House has a deep, rich, vintage vibe to it. The acoustics are wonderful. As a musician myself, playing on the stage, it's like nowhere else. You're wrapped in your sound, and it's such a great kind of experience to come to the town, stay in the town, play at this venue. So we do have a lot of really good musicians who come through that just want to play this venue as sort of like my bucket list place. I remember when we had Jeff Daniels here, the famous actor, he said to me, he goes, you know, this reminds me of a little Broadway theater where the response is immediate. He goes, I love that feeling. He loved playing the stage.
Hi, I'm Ella. I am the Assistant Production Manager for JTAM's Productions at the Mauch Chunk Opera House. When I came to work at the Opera House, I felt like this could be somewhere where we could revitalize it with a new youthful energy by bringing in new original acts and new indie acts that appeal more to a wider range of ages, but especially that younger audience.
This is the place to be. So people come to town, they have a nice dinner, they come to a show afterwards, they might visit one of the bars downtown. So it sort of adds into the economic engine of what the whole community is as a nightlife.
Visit their website to learn about the concerts and other events happening throughout the year. And while you're in town, make sure to check out all Jim Thorpe has to offer. JimThorpe.org has you covered. With the Pocono Television Network, I'm Brianna Strunk.
It's that time of year to renew and reset. After the holiday season, when you've been taking care of everyone else in your life, it's time to take care of you and have a little self-care. Whether that's with a loved one for a couple's getaway, or you just want to have a girls' getaway with your closest friends. Kalahari Resort is not just for the kids. They have a world-class spa, so my friend Kathleen and I decided to go for a girls' getaway and pamper ourselves. We wanted to have a zen day. Spa Kalahari has services that are tailored for you to relax and rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. After picking what we wanted to do, they took us back and we lounged in their beautiful and very relaxing pre-treatment room prior to our services.
Spa Kalahari and Salon is a you can't miss destination when you are visiting us. We have a large variety of body treatments and massages and nail services and hair services as well.
I chose a much-needed massage, while Kathleen enjoyed a soothing facial. Then we tried their halo therapy. The salt therapy room contains pure organic Himalayan salt and a high-quality halo generator to turn the pure salt into the salt vapor that provides so many health benefits to their guests. The calming and detoxifying effects of halo therapy are known to support your immune system and are great for respiratory issues and healthier skin. We ended our time at the spa by trying their hydrotherapy. The warm water helped us sit back and unwind.
We have saunas, steam rooms, and also a jetted tub that is a great area to be at and relax.
Sounds very relaxing.
Absolutely.
We would have loved to stay and try all the other amazing services they have to offer, but we started getting hungry.
We have 4 signature dining experiences in-house at Kalahari. My favorite is Sortino's.
They are known to satisfy your appetite with authentic flavors of Italy and the warmth of family. They made us feel right at home, and the food was exceptional. From one to the next, every bite was full of flavor. We had to end the day with one last sweet treat, so we decided to stop by Last Bite, located in the lobby, to pick up a few things, and they did not disappoint. It was the perfect ending to the perfect day. And don't forget, if you're still in the mood to have a little more fun, you can also hang out in their indoor water park and grab a drink at their swim-up bar, The Grotto.
So I know we were talking about like couples getaways and girls getaways, but if people just want to come visit the resort, can they come just for a day pass?
Absolutely. They can visit not only our spa, but also our water park. They can get day passes and stay at the water park and play for the day, as we call it.
Yeah.
You can also visit any of our signature restaurants, and you don't have to stay at the resort for that.
Oh, I love that. Hope you enjoyed coming along with us as we showed you how adults can enjoy Kalahari too. For more information to plan your getaway, go to PoconoMountains.com. I'm Deanna Fontanez for the Pocono Television Network.
Still to come on Pocono Mountains Magazine, meet the people who are making history right now for the Black community right here in the Pocono Mountains.
A popular grant program is back for 2024. How the community has benefited so far, coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine.
This edition of Pocono Mountains Magazine is presented by St. Luke's Monroe Campus and East Stroudsburg University.
Save the date for Empower, the leadership experience, returning to Kalahari Resorts and Conventions Thursday, April 25th. Join hundreds of women for this leadership conference featuring dynamic keynote speakers, a wellness studio, and more. Scan this QR code to register or visit ScrantonChamber.com.
Whether you're a beginner like Chris or just need a refresher, the Pocono Mountains is the place to learn to ski and board. Our ski resorts have the latest ski and snowboard rentals. Plus, the instructors are top-notch. Now's the time for you and your family to learn to ski. Go to PoconoSki.com.
From beautifying small towns and restoring historical icons to upgrading playground equipment and baseball fields, tourism continues giving back here in the Pocono Mountains. Since 2022, the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau has awarded $500,000 among nearly 60 regional projects through its Community Impact Grant. And now that program is back for 2024. More information and applications can be found on PoconoMountains.com/grants. To celebrate the program's return, we wanted to take a look back at some of the projects funded in 2023, beginning here in downtown Stroudsburg. Tolino Vineyards is one of the great small businesses in downtown Stroudsburg. Right outside the wine bar, events are held throughout the year in Courthouse Square, bringing thousands of locals and visitors together for Stroudfest, Pridefest, Winterfest, and many others.
Makes us feel like it's not just part of a community, but they're our friends as well. And it's just fun.
Crowds attending those events will be protected from traffic thanks to these new removable safety bollards at the corner of 7th and Main. They're also being installed across other streets leading to Courthouse Square.
For safety reasons, we need to be able to isolate that area so vehicles can't drive through. You know, in the news there have been a number of instances recently where there have been mass casualties because vehicles have driven through crowds.
In Honesdale, a new mobile stage will allow free events and summer concerts to continue in Central Park, the very park that served as inspiration for the famous seasonal song Winter Wonderland.
So this year we're focusing on finding a little bit smaller acts to see like how is the logistics going to work, how can we really utilize this awesome opportunity that is now going to be for the borough and for Honesdale and for everyone.
It replaces this former stage, also funded by the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau, which the community has since outgrown.
Performing on the new stage is very exciting. You feel the confidence and just a boost of energy with something new, that you are part of something new in the community.
In Milford, the former county jail and courthouse, with bars still blocking some windows, now houses borough offices and the police department. Historically accurate shutters have been added to the stone building, dating back to 1814, to replicate the originals, which deteriorated over time.
You know, it's one of the most treasured buildings in the borough, one of the oldest. So I think preserving it is really important.
Across from the new shutters at the old jail is another project funded by the Pocono Mountains Community Impact Grant back in 2022. Custom trash cans throughout the business district. The tree, a fitting design since Milford is known as the birthplace of America's conservation movement.
Preserving Milford is very important for the entire community. It's a wonderful historic town that I think if we don't continuously work on preserving it and enhancing it, it will just not be the place that we know and love.
The No. 9 Coal Mine and Museum in Lansford also got a financial boost. A new ADA accessible door and ceiling fans will ensure a comfortable experience for guests and provide circulation for precious artifacts on display.
Because it does get sadly very, very hot, being in an old building in the summertime, and now in the winter it does get very cold.
Built in 1912, the museum originally served as a locker room for coal miners and now exists to keep their stories alive. Visitors can also explore the world's oldest continuously operated deep anthracite coal mine, as the Pocono Television Network brought viewers along for in 2023. The season runs April through November.
Our mission here is just to preserve this site in perpetuity, is what it is, so that we can teach, the younger generations about what built this area as part of the Industrial Revolution.
There's a look at 4 of the 37 projects funded last year through the PMVB Community Impact Grant. Applications are once again open for a limited time through March 3rd, 2024 on PoconoMountains.com/grants. With the Pocono Television Network, I'm Brianna Strunk.
Hi, it's Jim Hamill with Pocono Television Network, and this church in Stroudsburg, the Little Bethel AME, was built in the mid-1800s as a place for Black Americans to worship freely. Now, as we celebrate Black History Month in February, we attended a recent MLK Day celebration for East Stroudsburg University, where we spoke to Black leaders about the past, the present, and their future.
Heaven is waiting for the mention of his name.
The packed house at Stroudsburg Country Inn celebrated the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in song and in speech.
The only difference between us is our skin tone, because God is too wise to put everything in one ethnicity.
East Stroudsburg University has hosted this event for the better part of 3 decades, recognizing community members and students like Brian Akanu, originally from the Bronx, now ESU student body president.
We pride ourselves on being the most diverse school in the PASI system. We're seeing a great influx of diverse students within especially like the last 10 years. It's just cool to see that there's a bigger community on campus dedicated to different things, and it makes our school more fun because we're seeing experiences that we may not find at other schools.
Akanu literally looks up to ESU President Kenneth Long. The two, different generations, yet their fervor for Black history is similarly strong.
We're kind of marking a new chapter.
Yeah, and Black history is U.S. history. I mean, that's an important thing. I mean, me being the first African-American president of East Stroudsburg University, 130-year-old institution, but me being the first. But I think laying that groundwork now allows us to move forward as a community, because our community is becoming more and more diverse.
Black history means a lot in the sense that we're paying it forward. All of the efforts that we have from the past and the people that did what they had to do, even some that laid down their lives and lost jobs and went the ultimate sacrifice for us to be here, to be able to do what we do, to be able to learn, to be able to just be in society amongst others. It's a blessing.
I was looking forward to saying this one for a while now, for about 3 months. Pike County Commissioner and President of the Monroe County Chapter of the NAACP, Krista Caceres.
Writing her own chapter in Black history, Krista Caceres, the president of the Monroe County NAACP, stood as newly elected Pike County Commissioner. Caceres was sworn in after the first of the year the first woman of color to serve in that post.
When I realized that I was the first woman in almost 30 years to be elected to the seat, and I was the first African-American woman or woman of color to ever hold the seat, it's incredible. And again, it just speaks to our community coming together and saying it's time for progress, right? It's time for different ideas, different vision, different voices. And I'm honored to be one of those chosen to move us forward.
Caceres is one of many leaders in this crowd, speaking out for the causes Dr. King did, encouraging the next generation to do the same and to continue making history.
It's admirable, and I think a lot of people forget that Dr. King was just in his 20s when he did the bulk of his work in civil rights. And it's time for folks like me at 50-something to prepare to pass the baton because, you know, clearly we have young people who are more than ready to step up and lead.
If we do spend the same time working together as we do trying to divide us apart, imagine what we can accomplish. And that's the power of unity and togetherness. And for Black History Month, I think that's one of the messages that I want to convey is unity. We can get more done together than we can apart.
Looking back and to the future with a message of unity for Black History Month and all year long here in the Poconos. Jim Hamill for the Pocono Television Network.
It's the perfect time of year to get outside for a winter hike. Come along as we visit some of the best trails and search for frozen waterfalls.
Plus, we're going to hit the chairlift at Ski Big Bear with Lori and Mark for Chairlift Chats. Join us, won't you?
What is great is new, epically new.
And big.
How big is it?
Big, big, big.
Epic from the start. You will be wowed, believe me.
Wined and dined or soda and dined. They can do both.
How about a villa for the family?
Whoa, don't you just love it? It's epic.
The new Great Wolf Lodge in the Pocono Mountains. The latest epic addition to the water park capital of the world.
Go to PoconoMountains.com.
Hey folks, Jim Hamill here, and I've got Lori Phillips, the GM of Ski Big Bear, with us here, and we're back for a little chairlift chat here at Ski Big Bear. This is at Masthope Mountain, so in order to get on the chairlift behind us, Lori, we gotta go down the mountain.
That's right. Here at Ski Big Bear, we're what's called an upside down mountain, but what's great about that is everybody gets the view. No matter what level skier you are, you get to the top of the mountain, and across the way, we see the Catskills of New York State. So it's a beautiful view.
It is, and here we are getting into the season, and we wanna have a little chairlift chat with Lori and some other folks here on the mountain, so come along for Chairlift Chats on PTN. All right, let's go, Lori.
All right.
Thank you. And we're on.
Well, welcome to the Thundercloud Chair.
So you guys have the chairlifts. You also have the magic carpets here at Ski Big Bear. What's the importance of those, especially when it comes to beginners overall?
Sure. So magic carpet is like a moving sidewalk for the snow. And we've all been on moving sidewalks at airports. And basically what happens is with your skis, you scoot onto that magic carpet and it gets you to the top without you having to let your feet leave the ground, so to speak. You scoot up, and when you get to the top, the magic carpet kind of gently pushes you off onto the snow, and it makes that first day of skiing that much easier. It takes out some of the intimidation of a chairlift ride.
This is Chairlift Chats, and so we're not only just talking about, you know, what Ski Big Bear has to offer here in Pike County, you know, very close to the Lackawaxen River, you know, all the different trails and the different amenities, but also just like what is it that you love about skiing here in the Poconos? You've done it for how many years?
Oh, way too long. I don't want to say that number. But it's a great activity for families. I just had a week last week where my nieces and nephews came up to visit. My great nieces got out on the snow this year. And it's just a multi-generational activity. You get your family on a chair. We're not really on devices. We're talking to each other. We're talking about that run we just had. We're remembering past great snow days that we've had. And it's a good opportunity to reconnect with friends and family. No matter how well you ski or ride, when you get out on the snow, you're playing. And playing is what brings you to life. We all need more play in our lives.
Lori Phillips, GM of the Ski Big Bear at Masthope Mountain. Thanks for joining us here on Chairlift Chats. This is the first one that we're really going to put out on Pocono Mountains Magazine, so thanks for being the inaugural one for that.
Of course, and thanks for coming up to see us. We're always glad to have you.
Very cool. Thanks again. Well, next, kind of a big deal. Mark Absalon. This guy is an award winner, a veteran ski instructor here in the Pocono Mountains. Mark, thanks for joining us here on Chairlift Chats. You've been here for a long while doing this. Does it ever get old for you?
It never gets old, Jim. I just love it. It actually keeps me young.
You can catch Chairlift Chats in its entirety on Pocono Mountains Podcast and at PoconoTelevision.com. Jim Hamill for the Pocono Television Network.
Come along for a peaceful winter hike as we go searching for frozen waterfalls. Coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine.
Hey, it's Jim Hamill with PTN, and still to come on Pocono Mountains Magazine, we got our drone operator, Zane, over here. What's it like up there in the Poconos today?
Spectacular.
It does look great out here today. We're going to show you all the views from way up high, coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine.
It's here! For real! It's St. Luke's Children's Hospital, ready to help all kids. They're keeping kids healthy, fixing us up, making us feel better, helping kids be the best they can be, because it's about us, the kids. It's St. Luke's Children's Hospital.
St. Luke's Children's Hospital is helping kids with everything, from routine checkups to specialized care.
It's here. It's great. Yeah!
Looking to get outdoors and experience nature, see some spectacular views, and have even the most popular trails all to yourself? Consider taking a hike in the wintertime. Today we are on the hunt for frozen waterfalls here in the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area. We're with Kathleen and Jody, as well as Kevin and Caitlin from our social media team. All right, should we go check it out?
Let's go.
All right. So later today, we're going to check out Pennsylvania's tallest waterfall. But first, we're starting here. A not as busy, but equally as beautiful trail. Tell us about it.
So this is the Hornbecks Creek Trail. It's about a mile in and then a mile back out. Relatively easy. There's not too much elevation gain or loss. And there are beautiful views of the Hornbecks Creek. We are in a hemlock ravine. It's just gorgeous. Any time of year, it stays relatively cool. It's also great for families because it is relatively easy. There are a couple really cool bridges that cross back and forth over the stream.
This trail was closed for several years due to storm damage. Today, the bridges you cross, including this one, were made from downed trees from that storm back in 2018. What are some tips for hiking in the winter?
So you definitely want to be prepared. You know, when you start the hike, you're not always going to be in the same elements at the end of the hike. So it's snowing right now. It might not be snowing when you start. It can start snowing, raining, getting windy, whatever. So you want to be prepared for the elements. Definitely check the weather before you go out. Hypothermia is a huge issue that you have to, keep in mind in the winter. Once you start sweating, your body's going to naturally cool down. So you want to make sure that you have enough layers, but not too many. You want to make sure that you have traction devices, especially if there's snow and ice, because the trails can be slippery, especially when you're walking through something like this where there are some steeper, hillsides that go down into a creek.
We finally made it here. The falls are not frozen yet, but they're still so beautiful.
So if you go hiking to any of the falls in the park, every day can have different conditions, and it's going to be beautiful, whether you see more rocks or more vegetation, or there's a lot more water. Right now we've got a beautiful curtain of icicles. Yeah, no matter when you show up, the falls are here, and they're beautiful.
And our winter hike tour is not over yet. Now we're heading to check out Pennsylvania's tallest waterfall, Raymondskill. So, all right, can't wait to go see it. And here we are after just a short hike. Raymondskill Falls is so beautiful.
It is, and Raymondskill is the tallest waterfall in Pennsylvania. It's 165 feet tall, and you can see today behind us, like Brianna said, even though it's not completely frozen, it is absolutely stunning. The great part about this waterfall, as we just experienced, is it's just a short hike to get to this amazing destination.
Wow, so if people want to visit really any time of the year, hopefully this winter, how can they find out more information about everything the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area has to offer?
Sure, we keep our website up to date, so you can visit us on our website or you can visit us on social media.
Thank you very much. We had so much fun. You and Jody were great hosts. We appreciate your time today.
Thanks for coming out today. We really appreciate getting to show you our stunning scenery in its winter finery.
Memories frozen in time. With the Pocono Television Network, I'm Brianna Strunk.
Hi everyone, it's Jim Hamill with Pocono Television Network, and each and every month we are showcasing the Pocono Mountains, all 4 counties, from down here on the ground. But in winter time, the Poconos takes on a different look from the sky. So we wanted to take the PTN drone up and show you around the Pocono Mountains from a little bit different perspective. Come along for our journey across the Poconos by drone. Our first stop was the Delaware Water Gap and the Appalachian Trail, which runs right through the Pocono Mountains. From up here, you can see the freshly fallen snow and the Delaware River. Through hikers usually wait until all this is melted to make their miles-long journey along the trail. This time of year, snow makes for great skiing, snowboarding, and snow tubing. Our 6 ski resorts in the Pocono Mountains provide so much for all levels, all ages. Just check out these views from high above at Camelback and Blue Mountain. Traveling with our drone operator Zane Shupp, we stopped in Milford for a look from on high. This town, planned out like a grid, historic in so many ways, and with wintry scenery, just picture perfect from any angle. Just down Route 6 from Milford is Shohola Falls, tucked away, yet easily accessible for liftoff.
When you actually see these things from above, you see the contours of the ice, and not having leaves on the trees, you can see through the woods better. But I'm really loving these patterns in the ice that are formed at this time of the year that you just can't see from ground level. It's spectacular. It's nature's art. It's beautiful.
The grandeur of the Poconos, directly in view for the drone from this height, waterfall and all. Our Pocono television drone isn't the only one in the skies. Nick with High Point Perspective has spent time over the hydroelectric dam at Lake Wallenpaupack during a rare dam release, sending massive amounts of water down creek to Paupack Falls at Ledges Hotel.
Started off, bought this drone probably about 2 years ago. Ever since, just got obsessed with it.
Like me, Nick grew up in the Poconos and was drawn to capturing the sky-high views and sharing them with the social media world. Places like the iconic Woodloch Resort. In winter, it's especially stark with bright white of snow.
A lot cleaner, you get a lot more contrast, especially with like the snow on the, like on pine trees especially too. The dark colors with the white, you get that really cool contrast. And like you said, with like the ice on the lake, especially when it first starts freezing, you get to see like the different forms that the ice make.
Nick, like Zane, takes a lot of care to capture these images for sharing with us all the beauty of the Poconos region, but from a whole new vantage point.
There's a lot of safety and a lot of, precautions you gotta take. It is a toy. You kind of do feel like a kid again, playing with it. That's another reason why, I like it a lot. But I mean, it is, there's rules and regulations in effect for a reason. It's definitely fun, but yeah, it could be a little nerve-wracking too. Wind gusts can come out of nowhere.
For years, we've had to rely mostly on handheld cameras, but now they can take off, showcasing landmarks like Big Pocono State Park and Camelback, Serenite, and many other Pocono places in winter and any season. Jim Hamill and Zane Shupp for the Pocono Television Network. Still to come on Pocono Mountains Magazine, Chris Barrett sits down with J.K., also known as John Kiesendahl, the family resort in the Pocono Mountains, Woodloch, and its history and all that it has to offer its guests every season of the year.
At East Stroudsburg University, you will study with cutting-edge technology. You can perform in the classroom, field, or stage. You'll get involved on campus and off. You can have fun preparing for your future.
Hey kids, I gotta take this.
Mom, this is for you. A vacation is for the whole family, even you, Mom. And the time with your family becomes a great memory. Now you can go on vacation the same time your family does. A vacation in the Pocono Mountains means you can't wait until tomorrow. A Pocono Mountains vacation can be a special kind of mom's therapy too. Visit PoconoMountains.com.
So this whole story you're going to hear about Woodloch is all about fate.
The Pocono Mountains is the birthplace to a Pocono wonderland of untold pleasure.
Winter in the Poconos, clear and crisp.
Called the land of the waterfall.
A recipe for romance.
John Kiesendahl, take us back to 1958. Harry and Mary Kiesendahl, an 11-year-old John Kiesendahl. What happened in 1958?
I was a happy boy living on Long Island in a neighborhood, lots of houses around me, and great class of friends, never thinking about moving anywhere. My dad had humble beginnings. He started, when he graduated, he didn't even graduate from high school actually, 17 years old, he left and went to the war. As soon as Pearl Harbor was bombed.
World War II.
World War II, so he never graduated. He came out of their service, he was a good human man, ringing the bells, and a milkman. He delivered milk all around. And my dad was sitting in the living room on a Sunday, and because he was looking for something else to do. And my dad just gets a phone number from the New York Times, says, boarding house for sale on a lake in Pennsylvania. Called up, it was a Brooklyn phone number, and the gentleman said, well, it's on Lake Tiddiascung in Pennsylvania. My dad's, his ears just rang, and he calls up, Mary, Mary.
Your mother.
It's my mother,
yeah.
Yes. It's on Lake Tiddiascung, the same lake my grandmother had brought them to when they were here, just going in the service, and they wanted to get married during the war. This is a true story. They put a stake in the ground at that time on that lake, and they said all the things you say when you're in love and 16 years old. And when he called this number in the New York Times, It happened to be Lake Tidiasca where they had put the stake in the ground. So we drove up to see Woodloch Pines. In 1958, it was a small summer boarding house, and this was March we went up.
So the boarding house was titled Woodloch Pines, so there
Right.
wasn't a Woodloch place, but
No.
it was a boarding house.
It was Woodloch Pines. We got up there, we had no neighbors 5 miles either side. We had no running drinking water. All the water would come up from a spring. And I'm thinking, oh no, we're not going to move up here. It's the end of the world. But we did move up.
And that was 1958.
That was 1958. And then once we got opened, and the full house was 40 people, it was only $6 a day to stay there. And that included 3 meals. And I would get the water, and I'd do the dishes, and we got involved. But then we met new people every week, and we treated them like company in our home. We found out that they liked that feeling, and I started to love that feeling. So I quickly adapted. We adapted, and that's where Woodloch started. And so we had a couple little cottages around. I think we had 3 cottages, and then we had 6 rooms in the main house, and we had a barn that was converted into 14 rooms with, single bathrooms at the end of the hall. It was very humble. We are in the northern Poconos, which is, we called it the Lake region. So it was just a beautiful area. You're 90 miles from New York, for us 100 miles from Philadelphia, people all around, and affluent people all around. Even though we started at $6 a day with 3 meals, as we built the business, things started to change a little bit.
So in 1958, when you had 40 guests, your dad had a lot of vision. What was the first expansion? How did take us through the 60s, the 70s? How did that start to look?
Well, what happened is, as guests went home happy, they started to tell their friends, and they started to come back. And my dad realized we couldn't sustain ourselves on this little small boarding house. There was a girls' camp right next to us, Camp Tidiasca. And we purchased that in 1961. That was the first big change. And we put an addition onto the main lodge. 1961, the girls' camp, it was actually a sad day in my life because I was 14 at the time. But anyway, we had the girls' camp was more than doubled our size. Then we fixed up some of the cabins and the cottages over the winters, and we started renting that as well. So that was a real key spot. Interesting thing about that is we couldn't get Dad couldn't get a mortgage because we were a small business. The camp cost $60,000, which at that time seemed like a lot of money. They had bought Woodloch for $40,000. And when they bought Woodloch for $40,000, it was 12 acres and 200 feet on the lake. And now here's another 200 feet on the lake and about probably it was 25 acres. So we went to the bank and nobody would lend him any money. So he went to our guests who just a lot of them have loved Woodloch. So they came back and he sold $500 bonds to guests. And they gave him a discount when they came to Woodloch. And he raised almost $60,000 and we bought the girls' camp. It's a great story and an innovative dad who came up with this plan to raise money from our guests. They had confidence. They liked my parents. We were like family. We knew everybody.
I think that's a testament to how they had faith in you and loved your property.
It's all based on that, the relationship, that sincerity and the trust. It's really the part that works. And they knew they had to vacation there 5 or 10 years in order to get their money back, and they did.
Wow. So just out of curiosity, do any of the original structures still exist?
Oh, yes. Yeah, the main lodge is still there. In fact, my office on the top of the main lodge was an attic. When I was 11 years old, I slept there. And every night I went to bed with a tennis racket because it was infested with bats. We built our closing room up there. And now that's my office up top where I used to sleep. Only the ceiling's a little higher.
So I read that Woodloch does not have executive offices. Why is that?
Most of the time, we're on the floor with people, with our staff. We work elbow to elbow with people. That's been our tradition all the way through. If I don't say it now, I don't want to forget it. The most important asset we ever had at Woodloch, and always have been, is a great staff. We are blessed with terrific people. The culture that's developed over the 65 years we've been there and the success we've had is all about our staff. And that culture that we started back then of treating people like they were members of our family, that's how we treat all of our staff. So we talk about the 1,300 people we have. We talk about the Woodloch family, the greater Woodloch family. So we have offices, we just don't spend a lot of time in them. And that's how we've run our business, very hands-on. And we grew, and we grew not tremendously fast, but for a little place, it went pretty fast. We bought another camp on the lake. Camp Electra was a Christian Scientist camp. We bought a little small boarding house that was on the lake. So by the time 1981 rolled around, when I purchased the business, Woodloch handled about 250 guests. And I loved the business. I mean, it was in my soul. Once I got through that 11-year-old stretch, I loved it.
So how many are you now, the whole, I'm sorry.
We have 1,300, over 1,300 acres now. We either own or control. We went from 12 acres to 1,300 acres in that 65-year span. In fact, we just bought another 60 acres on the lake. I went into a 6-year growth span. So we built a lot. We built a nightclub, we built our big inn, we built all of our suites, 80 rooms. We added, in a 5-year span, a lot to it. So that's how Woodloch started to go. Then, along the way, by the time we got to 1986, the resort proper was about the size it is today. And we were just, okay, what next? Well, what came next is people all wanted a golf course. Our clientele had become more affluent as we went on, and we needed a golf course to be a great resort. So we were able to put together another 500 acres. We bought some land right next to us, 2 miles away, and we built a beautiful golf course. It was the centerpiece of a community we built. So we started a construction company and a real estate company. At that point, in 1988, we started those. Woodloch Pines primarily is a family resort. So we have lots of kids, lots of families. They come back year after year, and then we have other pieces now, but that's what it was. So we built a spa, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit.
No, that's,
okay.
we want to talk about
I keep rolling. So
go.
We did a golf course, and we figured, okay, that's it. Now we have a perfect resort. But everybody, by the time we got to the 90s, everybody wanted to have a spa. So we got into purchasing some more land and a little lake, and it's right at the end of our other lake, and the lodge at Woodloch began.
The spa has always been consistently ranked as one of the top 10, not in Pennsylvania, United States, but in the world by Condé Nast.
Yes.
Right, consistently for the last, since you've owned it, probably.
Yep. Well, we brought a spa person in as our partner, so we had partners in this. We bought the land that had our name on it, and it opened up in 2006, and the place was beautiful. But the partner was managing. He was a little more elitist in how he approached things, and the hospitality wasn't the same. It didn't match up with our name. So we ended up in 2010 buying partners out.
What is your hospitality heart? What is the Woodloch hospitality heart, if somebody asked you that, if a guest did?
I'd say we have a deep passion for making people happy, but in each different resort it's doing something different, because at Woodloch Pines, we reconnect family, and we can see what happens. They come in the door, and they're sitting with their family and meals, they're recreating together, they're having a ball, and they go home happy, and their spirit is high. And at the lodge, it's a whole different, it's rejuvenation and, finding some peace and peacefulness. And I tell my kids all the time, we're doing God's work. You know what? We bring people together, we bring some peace in the world, and it's very, very rewarding to myself and to our family, just as it was to my parents.
It seems that the thread of that first 40 guests in 1958 is still with us today, just in different forms.
Yep. The mission statement has never changed. We didn't even know it was the mission statement in 1958, but as we went on, we said, you know what? Our mission will be to treat every single guest who comes through our doors or does business with us in any way as if they're company in our own home. We're going to treat them like friends. So it'll be a very personalized hospitality. It's not just, you say what you're supposed to say. It comes from your heart. When we hire people, we don't look for a whole bunch of experience. What we look for is attitude, enthusiasm, and then try and see their heart. Like they tell them all the time, you can learn service from a book. You have to learn hospitality, has to come from your heart. And that's what we talk about all the time. And obviously, passionate about it. I mean, I'm very passionate about it. And my children, thank goodness, understand how that all works, and they're in it.
It was amazing being a guest there. Got on the shuttle, and the driver knew you, spoke very highly of you and the family, and the answer, and he had said, didn't know who I was. He said, I feel like I'm part of their family. And you don't see that today, really, the relationship of a team member to an employer, which is, I think, the heart of that, too. They do feel
definitely.
like that.
Trying to know people. We have a crisis fund when people get in trouble, they have a significant issue, we help them out financially. We do a lot of different things and we have lots of gatherings together. It's all part of building that heart and the center of hospitality. So we are blessed. As again, I know my dad didn't know this, but the Pocono Mountains are the place to go.
And that's what I wanted to ask, John. You have that perspective because you've been here. So from your time first here with your family to now, what evolution have you seen? Because you came at the peak of the honeymoon part of it. So where do you think we are now? Where do you think the Pocono Mountains is going?
I think it's been absolutely amazing what has happened to the Pocono Mountains. We have so much nature. We have rivers and streams and beautiful woods, and we're only 90 miles away from New York and Philadelphia. We should be the mecca of people vacationing. There's so much diversity there that can happen. So we changed our mission from honeymoons to nature, family, and we still have great honeymoon places, but that's not all we have. Skiing in the wintertime, snow tubing, and all these water parks that have come in. There's just so much here now. Now we are the place to go.
There you guys are. That was such a great Pocono Perspectives with Chris and John Kiesendahl. John is my former boss as a lifeguard there. And Woodloch, definitely one of the great family-run properties here in the Pocono Mountains that teaches you hospitality, treating guests like a guest in your own home.
That's right. And speaking of Pocono places, we are back at Pocono Palace, one of the 3 Cove Pocono properties here. We're in the nightclub. You saw it referenced in Jim's segment earlier in the show, so we were glad to be here for the month of love, of course, Valentine's Day, but it's a great place to visit for couples throughout the year.
And you can catch up anytime, anywhere on PoconoTelevision.com. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next month. Cheers. Cheers.
Save the date for Empower, the Leadership Experience, returning to Kalahari Resorts and Conventions Thursday, April 25th. Join hundreds of women for this leadership conference featuring dynamic keynote speakers, a wellness studio, and more. Scan this QR code to register or visit ScrantonChamber.com. You're watching PTN, the Pocono Television Network.
Want to learn to ski? The Pocono Mountains is the place to be. With lessons for every age, you'll be skiing or snowboarding in no time. Learning is fun, and the views are beautiful. Choose from 6 amazing ski areas. Learn more at PoconoSki.com.